Kaylee Hendrickson. In January of this year, the Elkhart County prosecutor wrote a letter to Indiana Governor Mike Pence asking him to pardon Keith Cooper, an Indiana man who was falsely convicted of a crime 20 years ago. But the Indy Star reports that Pence's general counsel punted the request, telling Cooper he must first appeal to the courts before getting the felony removed from his record. Having experience working closely with prison inmates, Huntington's Jack Heller was intrigued by the Cooper's situation. The former inmate was falsely convicted of armed robbery, but is still listed as a convicted felon. This urged Heller into taking actions into his own hands. Heller created a change.org page that is bringing attention to Cooper's case.
I have read about his case in the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette late in July, and I volunteer in prison, and I read about this case, and it just kept bothering me. I wrote a petition, and it got started.
The petition has reached over 106,000 signatures so far. If you are interested in signing the petition, you can go to change.org and search for Keith Cooper. Along with the Dr. Jack Heller, senior Edwin Chow is also making an impact in the world. The Huntington University senior has launched his own organization, Evangebear. Evangebear serves to represent the message of the gospel. Chow started the business in order to give parents a good resource to share the gospel with their children. With the help of senior Abby Kaufman, Dr. Karen Jones, and Rebecca Kaufman, Chow was able to launch his product past the developmental stages. He tells FDN News this product will renew parents and the ministry's energy to share with the gospel. Chow is currently in Ukraine for a ministry internship, so I connected with him via Skype to learn more about his mission.
We want to get Evangebears out into as many hands, as many families before Christmas this season. Not only that, but we also have a 5-year goal to move manufacturing of these Evangebears into a region where human trafficking is rampant, to provide them jobs, victims' job, to be able to get out of the industry by making Evangebears. So we have a lot of different goals with regards to social justice, but first and foremost, we want the gospel to be shared.
Along with the stuffed bear, the purchase comes with a storybook that shares the story of Evangebear. Evangebear will be sold online on sites such as Etsy. All proceeds made will go towards Share a Bear, a fundraiser towards short-term missions trips. Chow says that an online shop to buy the bears should be set up in the next week or two. In the meantime, if you get involved by sharing Evangebear through social media or with your friends. Monday marked the first presidential debate of the 2016 general election, and it did not disappoint those looking to be entertained. I am joined now by senior Keith Claassen to talk about the debate. So, what can you tell me about what you took away from this debate?
Well, I think the primary takeaway from this debate was it was a refresher in most people's memories, I would imagine, of the key personality and strengths and weaknesses of each candidate. Hillary, of course, came super prepared, over-prepared, some may say, but with good answers and a pretty steady flow of her answers of like tougher political questions. And Trump, in his standard, showed up with a more abrasive but emotional answer ready, psyche in mind. He responded based on what he thought immediately was what he thought was correct, and didn't shy away from saying what he thought was the right answer.
Yeah. So I guess after looking those, watching the debate and stuff, in your opinion, I guess what candidate, I guess, would you say won?
Just based off what I saw, I would say Hillary won. But not because it was any specific arguments she did that were better than Trump's, but it was more that she came much more well prepared than Trump did. And she bided her time going with what she had prepared, whereas Trump threw out emotional responses to whatever she said. And because he wasn't as prepared, whenever she would attack him on a certain point, he would respond defensively saying, oh, no, that's a lie. That's not right. And I think in today's day, everybody knows the answer to something immediately. Just Google it. So on certain key points, such as whether or not he thought the Chinese had created global warming, when Hillary said he did, he said, no, I didn't. But then she immediately responded, hey, go on my website. There's a fact checker there. And I think that was one of the key points which turned the debate more into her favor, I would say.
Yeah. So I guess, do you have any last thoughts, or I guess what should students know going into this next election?
Well, I'd say that students should just look online, just learn about the candidates and what they believe in. isidewith.com is an amazing resource out there to find out who you actually want to side with. Don't listen to whatever the news or social media has to say. Learn for yourself and don't let other people influence your opinion too much.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us.
It's great being here.
Clinton and Trump are not the only people making a statement lately. Whether it's through his art or fun personality, animation professor Brian Ballinger is always sure to make an impression on those he meets. We caught up with Ballinger during his personal art gallery. He's this week's featured person of the week.
Fluorometry exhibit, and it's an exhibit of a bunch of my photography, mostly based around floral art and images. I do an awful lot of photography, and I do a lot of other art and illustration, but this is very different than anything else that I do. I'm really fascinated with patterns, especially patterns in nature, and flowers have really interesting patterns. So it's based on that, but then I impose kind of some more human patterns into the floral patterns using the computer. And so it's a combination of those two things. It's mostly just to get people to look at it and kind of go, what in the world is that? And then really start looking at it closer and kind of see how it's got these organic elements, but then also these geometric elements. So really it's sort of to inspire, but also confuse. I like the juxtaposition of things that you would normally think wouldn't go together, but then you kind of say, oh wow, that kind of does. Yeah, you should come and take a look at it. It's going to be running for a couple more weeks.
With this weekend's forecast looking gloomy, you will have more than enough time to check out Ballinger's art gallery. FDN Shelby Price joins us live via Skype to tell us more about this weekend's weather.
I'm standing outside of the Merillat Center for the Arts, and it's finally not raining. Sadly, the thunderstorms will continue tomorrow with a high of 66 and a low of 53. On Saturday, the thunderstorms will continue all throughout the day with a high of 66 and a low of 50. On Sunday, it'll finally clear up and be cloudy with a high of 69 and a low of 53. Live from outside of the MCA, Shelby Price, FDN News.
Well, the weather did not keep our Foresters off the field this week. Bert, what can you tell us about how our Foresters did?
Yeah, Kaylee, the weather didn't affect our Foresters team too much as the women's tennis team and men's soccer team came out and won. We'll get more information on that to you guys right after.
My name is Anita Gray, and I'm the director. My absolute passion is teaching students how to use credible sources. I ask them questions, have you thought about this, have you thought about that? And all of a sudden that light bulb goes on and they go, aha, and they get it. I don't think there's any better feeling in the profession than that. It's just so exciting to watch a student go through the process of learning. I've had several students and faculty say, you know, I went down and looked for this book and I found another one that looks really interesting. So I decided to check that one out too. Or I need to look a little bit more in my subject area because there's some really good materials down there. I liken it in some ways to Alice in Wonderland. You fall into the hole of the area of your study. And Alice had constant discovery. She had to have constant discovery because strange things were happening to her. She had to learn how to get out of them or how to deal with them. And that's the same way with learning. When you start falling into that hole of a topic and you need to learn more and you need to find out more and you have to do this. Sorry, I get really excited about this. That's what you can do in the library. Go into the shelves. You can go into the facts and look and see if you can find more information than what you just specifically went for.
Foresters had a busy week this week, kicking off their fall season. The wind picked up and the temperature started to drop, but the Foresters brought the heat, winning multiple matches. The Huntington women's tennis team took a break from league play on Monday to notch their second shutout of the year as they blew past Anderson University. The closest match of the day was an 8-5 victory for sophomore-junior combo Moracle and Van Compen. Roger Ferguson's team extended their winning streak to 4 games after knocking off Spring Arbor University, finishing league play at 6-2 in 3rd place. After that game, yesterday on Wednesday the 28th, the men's soccer team played against St. Francis Cougars after coming off an incredible upset win over Indiana Wesleyan on Saturday in Marion. Senior keeper Brad Buzzard and sophomore mid Miguel De Sousa were awarded Crossroads League Player of the Week on their side of the ball. It was a much cooler and wet day yesterday, and after the Foresters got ahead 2-0 in the first half, the game began to get a bit chippy on both sides of the ball. De Sousa collided with the Cougar goalkeeper in the second half at the peak of the Cougars' frustration, but both got up and walked away uninjured. After 3 assists from Lusada and a penalty kick from Woost, the Foresters logged their 3rd straight shutout in a row, increasing to 4-5-1 and 2-0 in league play. From this past week, the men's golf team played Friday through Saturday at the University of St. Francis Fall Invitational, tying for 3rd out of 11. The women's soccer team lost Tuesday at the University of St. Francis. The men's tennis team and women's tennis team both won against Spring Arbor. And that is all we have for this past week. Coming up, we've got men's soccer at Goshen College on 7 p.m. Saturday, October 1st. Men's golf playing Monday through Tuesday at the Taylor University Arnie's Intercollegiate Tournament. Women's soccer team going to IWU on Saturday, October 1st at 2 p.m. And the women's cross country team will be running at the Greater Louisville Invitational at Friday and Saturday.
Well, that's all we have for you in this installment of FDN News.
Remember, you can always check us out at foresterdigital.net and follow us on Twitter at FDN_news.
Have a great night.